Diesel 10. Diesels are best. Silly steamers. Out of my way.
Yep, you guessed it, this video is all about the Take and Play Talking Diesel 10. I feel it's worth taking a very good look at this model against an old Take Along Diesel 10. There are some real surprises to be found between these models. You know, I was going to review a whole bunch of these fantastic toys, but I see that loads of other YouTubers have beaten me to it, so you're not going to see this from me. Basically, if you need a Take and Play which talks to you, well, this is a perfect toy for your collection.
Steamies are silly. Steamies are slow.
Bust my buffers.
I'm the number 4 blue engine.
I'm Diesel.
I'm the brightest red engine on Sodor.
The Steamies in this series talk, and they also have a chugging sound as you push them along. Diesel talks as well and makes a grinding diesel sound. This feature is important to remember a little later in the video.
I can beat a Steamy any day. I'm a really useful engine too. See you later.
I'm very lucky as I have quite a collection of Diesel 10s. As most of us know, Diesel 10 has a new CGI face. He's now represented as a far less sinister looking character, and this change seems to have divided the Thomas fanbase. But hurrah, it seems this talking Diesel 10 has kept his classic evil undertones. In fact, I feel this new Diesel 10 looks better than my old 2002 Take Along. Maybe someone was listening when I shouted out, "Give us back the old face!" If we do a comparison with today's wooden Diesel 10, it becomes obvious just how classic this talking Diesel 10's face is. And as we all know, the faces on these Thomas and Friends models is critical, potentially the most important aspect to these toy trains. Okay, let's go in for a much closer look at Diesel 10. Yes, he can talk. By pushing Pinchy's swivel point activates his vocal cords.
Hello, I'm Diesel 10.
There's also a light feature inside the driver's cab. This is fairly dim as it's only an LED. It works best in dark environments. Sadly, this model is lacking the engine sounds when it's in motion. One set of wheels pivot while the other is locked. Underneath hides a tiny battery compartment. This toy uses a very common style of button battery, which is used in loads of toys. Let's do an autopsy to see the internal wonders, and it reveals a very tidy and compact electronics board. Seeing ROHS should have us all doing a Google search on the implications of these standards in manufacturing, be it good or bad. One interesting thing is, Pinchy comes with like a ratchety sound when you move him around. I'm not sure how many Take Along or Take and Play Diesel 10s had this. My old 2002 model does not have this feature, but it gives Pinchy a very positive feel when you're playing with him. On the scales, this talking Diesel 10 comes in at 109 grams, while my old Take Along is heavier at 117 grams. And as I put the new Diesel 10 up so we can all ponder at the beauty and glory of this model, we can all think of the things that we like about this model, and I think it's got a lot of good things going for it. It is strange because there was something bugging me about this model that was different, and that's going to play out very soon. I feel this is a very good rendition of Diesel 10. Anybody purchasing this model will be happy with what they get. And sure, there have been changes, and the best way to illustrate these changes is to put the two models side by side so you can see what's going on. I know that people who love trains and watch my videos are some of the most observant viewers that I've got. They could write out a list far longer than mine of the differences between these two models. And there's one very sinister difference, which is almost impossible to detect, as you literally need to have these models in your hands to start to feel it. Personally, I feel this model is a vast improvement on what was served up back in 2002. Let's take a look at this Diesel 10 versus the now very old Ertl Diesel 10. As you can see, there are some big differences between these models, but look very carefully at the colour. And because I can, let's throw up a wooden Diesel 10, and we can again see many differences between these two models. But the colour seems fairly similar. Now for that nagging difference between these two Diesel 10s. I pulled out my vernier calipers and measured my 2002 model, so it came up at 26.81mm wide. Then I measured my Talking Diesel 10. Its width is 27.40. So that Talking Diesel 10 is just over half a millimetre wider, but how will this affect the model on some of the very tight take and play playsets? I knew the Diesel Works was a very tight set for some of the take and play models, especially Diesel 10, and because this Talking Diesel 10 is only a fraction bit wider, it affects the playability of the toy on this playset. But I'm being hypercritical here. I think most children would just push Diesel 10 through that tightness and still play. And let's have a look at my old Take Along Diesel 10. He's a tight fit on this playset, but because he's just that fraction bit skinnier, he gets through. Well, who out there has lost your legs on your Diesel Works? Don't forget my top tip. Glue your legs on. Glue your legs on, glue your legs on. It's that simple. And it still folds up to a beautiful foldable playset. All in one, and you won't lose your legs. When I purchased the toys for this video, I purchased two Diesel 10s and a Thomas. And the Target where I bought these, the Diesel 10 wasn't on their register. So I was able to pick Diesel 10 up for $14. I'm not sure of his real price, but seeing the Thomas price, it tells me that's about $5 more expensive than a stock standard Thomas that doesn't talk. Maybe you've seen the price of these where you live. I'd be curious how much these toys are in the United States. If you know, leave a comment please. You're looking at my son's Thomas tank. It's a very well loved toy, and I was curious if he would adopt a Talking Thomas into his toy box. To my surprise, the Talking Thomas was ignored. But it was a totally different story when a new Talking Diesel 10 was introduced, and this insight is possibly best left as a standalone video. The big question is, do we really need talking toys for children? From what I've seen via other talking trains, it's a feature which rarely ever gets used, and adds complexity and price to a toy which is essentially very simple. Maybe you have something to say about talking trains? I would love to know your thoughts. Leave a comment please. Well, I hope you liked this video. As always, thank you for watching, and it's time for a tiny